If you've ever handed your tween a worksheet and 5 minutes later they're melting down, if you've ever given your tween a worksheet and 5 minutes later they are melting down because they don't get it, and you're standing there like, it says compare and contrast. What is unclear about that? But here's the thing, they're not being dramatic for no reason. They don't know what those words mean. Not really. Not in a way that they can confidently take action on their own. So either they're going to shut down and just fritter away the time, and then you're going to come back and go, why isn't this done? You're going to be frustrated. They're going to be frustrated. You might have some conflict. It's not going to be good. Or they're going to come and find you again, interrupt whatever it is that you hoped you could be doing while they were doing the assignment. And suddenly, independence feels like, well, that's a cute idea. You know, yeah, sure, I can get my kid to work independently. Not happening. But what if I told you there's one thing, a simple thing you can do to create, and you can create it this week if you were still homeschooling right now. If not, tuck this away for later. And it's going to make independent learning feel doable, like for real. So stick around. I'll show you exactly how to help your tween build their own instruction cheat sheet so they can stop spinning out over unclear directions and actually know what to do without needing you every step of the way. I'm Marina Joy. I help homeschool moms of middle schoolers raise confident, independent learners without you losing your mind or your identity in the process. So, we're here not just to survive homeschooling, we're here to build life skills, healthy rhythms, and kids who can think for themselves, which is more important than ever. Just have a look at the news out there. We want kids who can think for themselves. Our future depends on it. If you would like the guide for this week, type the word guide in the chat and I will send that over to you. But now, let me know if you are watching live. Please drop a hashtag live in the comments and then I can say hello. If you are watching the replay, thank you for watching, and type hashtag replay so I can circle back and say hi. But now, a quick question for you. What is one word you've seen in your kids' assignment that made you do a double take? I know often, I don't know about often, sometimes when we'd get the curriculum and we'd get it all sorted and set out, we were on a good trajectory, things were going well, and then I'd have a look at the instructions on what the girls were supposed to be doing. And I was like, oh, well, that's not very clear. That's not clear to me. And I have more life experience, more experience reading and understanding instructions. So then as I'm looking at that, I'm like, well, it's no wonder you can't do that. You don't even know what it means. I don't even know what it means. So I'm wondering, is there anything, any word or phrase that you have seen in your kids' assignment that you're like, huh, I wonder what they're actually asking them to do? Something like justify your reasoning. Your kid might not know what that means. Or elaborate on evidence. It depends on how much your child is reading, what their reading comprehension is, what their life experience is, in who they are talking to, who are they exposed to, what kind of language have they been exposed to. And it could be they just don't know what this one word means. They haven't had exposure to it. That's okay. Anyway, pop it in the chat. I would love to know. What kind of words you have seen that made you kind of shake your head and go, huh, that's an interesting way to ask that question. But now let's get into it. Let's talk about one of the biggest hidden sources of homeschool frustration and a tool that can help your tween take back control of their learning so they can be more independent and you can also spend time doing some of the other things in life that you also need to do while educating your child. All right, first thing, it's not the work, it is the instruction. So most resistance doesn't come from the actual subject. Let's think about that for a second. What if the main problem with math wasn't the math? What if it was from not understanding what the question was even asking? So think back to when your child was doing a math page that they were struggling with. Were they struggling with the instruction, like they didn't know what was required? And then once you explained, oh, you need to do it like this, or this is what they're asking, and you kind of put it in plain language instead of math terminology, they're like, oh, I can do that. Or maybe a writing assignment, and there was some vocabulary there that they weren't sure, okay, what exactly am I supposed to do? So the resistance might not be the subject. And we can fix that. We can totally fix that. But that kind of stuckness erodes confidence. So if every time they go and they look at the textbook or the workbook and they're not sure what's being asked of them, they're going to feel dumb all the time. Like, I don't know what this means. And it's not necessary. We can fix that. So they don't constantly have to feel like, well, I should know, but I don't want to ask because I should know already. And then they just don't try. So we're going to talk about what to do in a bit. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make them the author of their own tool. So we're going to create a tool. They're going to create a tool, a cheat sheet. Kids love cheat sheets. I have taught multiple classes of a variety of subjects in and out of schools. Kids love cheat sheets. Here's the thing about the cheat sheet. So much learning happens because they have to understand the concept in order for it to have any value on that cheat sheet. And it only works if it's written in their language, their words, not yours. So we don't want to print some fancy chart off of Pinterest saying, oh, look at all of these instruction words. It's not going to be helpful. It's not theirs. They need to write things in their own words. You can check and make sure that they have comprehended. So if they write the word summarize and then they say, make it short, okay, that's going to be a trigger for them that works for them. It has to be in their words. The more ownership they have over this process, the more invested they'll be. That page is going to end up being dog-eared and tattered and well used because it's like their personal decoder. And they can add words over time. So every time they come to an instruction word, they can write it on that paper, make a note of what it means. So then we say, okay, we're going to do this math page today. They have got their cheat sheet. So then they look at the instruction and they're like, oh, what does that mean again? They look at their cheat sheet. They can do it on their own. They can be independent. They can take ownership of their learning. So this is going to be a process. It's not going to be instantaneous. And we need to build the habit of adding things to the cheat sheet. If you've got a very artistic child, they might want it colorful. They might not want it line by line. There may be things sideways, upside down. They might turn it over. It doesn't matter. It's theirs. Theirs to help them learn. And then, number 3, we want to talk about their learning. So now that we realize, okay, the instruction words are the biggest barrier, we are going to create a cheat sheet. They're going to create a cheat sheet that will help them decode those words so they can be independent and do the work. Doesn't mean they're going to get every question right, but it means they at least are going to understand what to do. And then we can use that language, incorporate that language. So when you're asking them, what are you working on? They're not just going to say, oh, page 43. But maybe they're talking very specifically about the concept. So if they're talking about math, they can be very specific about what they're doing. If they're talking about language arts and writing, they can talk very specifically using those words to describe what they are doing. So middle school is this age where tweens start stepping into their identity. They start having more agency, developing some independence, pulling away from us as parents. That is the natural order of things. That is what is supposed to happen. But when we help them build this vocabulary around learning, they're going to feel competent. It's going to make them willing to try more things because they're going to feel competent. And this pulling away is going to be more successful in that they're going to be competent and confident and actually able to do the work rather than just like trying to pull away, frustrated, knowing that they want to be independent, but feeling like they can't because they don't have the skills. So we're going to give them the skills and we're going to help make this happen. So the real win this week is not just about finishing the assignment or getting through the day without drama. It's about helping your tween build this language for learning. Because once they can name what they're doing, they're not just following directions. They're becoming self-aware learners. They can take initiative. They can ask better questions because they'll have the words to use. They can reflect on their progress. And that is the kind of independence that we are working towards. Now, it's not going to happen all at once, but this cheat sheet, I tell you, it's a small hinge that swings a very big door. And once they see the power of that cheat sheet and feel the confidence that comes from knowing what to do without you hovering, independence isn't far away. So if you would like the guide for this week, comment guide below. I'll send it to you right away. You do not have to homeschool the hard way. Let's make this work for you. Make it work for you. All right. That is all for today. Until next time, keep talking with your tween.